So I think if some of these features were added in NBA Live Mobile, I think this game would just be absolutely incredible.
Special features? Like what?
Okay, so the NBA Live Mobile gameplay has been pretty much the same throughout the whole time we've had it, from season 1 all the way through to now in season 6. It hasn't really changed a huge amount, but there are still a lot of changes that I think would be pretty good to have. And FIFA Mobile has had a beta version of the game drop, and some of the features that they have inside of that game, especially to do with gameplay, are just absolutely crazy. So I think if some of those features were added into NBA Live Mobile, the game would be absolutely nuts. So we're going to take a look at some of the features that they have and compare them to what they could be looking like in NBA Live Mobile and whether they could be possible to be put inside the game. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, FIFA Mobile is basically NBA Live Mobile, but for the sport of football, or soccer if you're American, but we're going to call it football because that's what it's meant to be called, and that's how I call it. But anyway, so that is basically the game for that, and they have produced a beta version of the new season. So instead of carrying on the season like NBA Live Mobile did with making a whole new season, they've decided to postpone it and wait until the next year to release their new season. So what is going to happen is they're going to make a beta version, which they have done, get some feedback on that, and then hopefully release a new game in the next year. But with that game, some of the features on that, like I said, are just absolutely nuts, and most of them are to do with the gameplay that I think EA could definitely implement when it comes to NBA Live Mobile. So kicking things off is with that 60 FPS. Now, for those of you who don't know, 60 FPS basically means there's more frames per second, so it makes the game look a lot smoother. Now, when I was recording or screen recording my phone playing FIFA Mobile, this was on 60 FPS, but you can't actually tell a huge amount. You can tell here and there, but when you're playing the game, it's a whole different experience. The game is so smooth. Obviously, when I'm recording, it's going to drop frames here and there, but hopefully you can tell a little bit just how smooth it is compared to NBA Live Mobile. And if we could have this in the game in NBA Live Mobile, it'd just be absolutely nuts, because sometimes the gameplay can be a bit like laggy here and there, a bit jumpy, a bit janky over there, but if we had 60 FPS and it was completely smooth, let me tell you, it's buttery smooth when you're actually playing FIFA Mobile. It's just ridiculous. But if they had that in NBA Live Mobile, I think it'd be really, really fun to play, because it just adds to that. And this was probably one of the very first things I noticed when I actually hopped on into the beta version of FIFA Mobile, was that 60 FPS, and I thought it was really, really nice to have. Now, another feature that we have been pushing for in NBA Live Mobile that it did end up dropping in that FIFA Mobile beta version was commentary. Now, I know that if we have commentary, the game size will be pretty big when it comes to it when you're actually downloading it on the phone, but what FIFA Mobile have done is it doesn't come with the game straight away. You can choose to download the actual commentary, and you can download all the sound effects for the stadium and all that stuff. That is separate. That is if your device has enough storage to be able to get that. You can download it yourself. You can see how much storage that specific thing is taking up as part of the game, and if it gets too much, like your phone's running out of storage, you can just simply delete that. But the commentary is really nice. It sounds like you're playing, basically like you're playing FIFA on console. It's just nuts. And I think NBA Live Mobile could definitely do something when it comes to commentary. I know you'd probably have to get some rights here and there, getting some of the broadcasters, getting some of the commentators for actual NBA on the game. I know that's probably going to cost a little bit of money here and there, but it would be worth it, because I mean, when it comes to the commentary, it'd just be absolutely nuts. And if EA are ever looking for any commentators for NBA, I'd happily do it. I know I'm not probably the best at it, but I'd happily give it a go and do it probably for free pretty much, because that'd be really nice to have. When you're, say, going into a game, you can hear the commentator's voice saying all this stuff, saying what's happening with the game, like you're playing NBA 2K on console. It'd just be absolutely nuts to have. So I'm going to play a couple of clips now of what the commentary actually sounds like in FIFA Mobile, just to see what you guys think.
I'm Derek Ray. With me for commentary is Lee Dixon, and without doubt a match with the potential to bring genuine excitement. I can't wait for this, Lee. Is it going to be Pulisic? And there it is, the breakthrough. That will do nicely. So there we have it, 2-1. So 2 minutes of stoppage time to be added on. Pulisic. A goal! He's dispatched it, much to the sheer delight of the fans.
And also, ages ago, I made a video on what NBA Live Mobile would look like if it had commentary. You can go check that video out as well. That took quite a while to make, to actually find all the different clips here and there of proper NBA commentators saying the stuff, but I think it worked out pretty nicely. But that'd be really nice when it comes to being added into NBA Live Mobile. Now, another thing that they added was substitutions. Now, we've been asking for this for quite a while when it comes to NBA Live Mobile, just to have the ability to change out players here and there in the middle of a game. Now, what they have is when you actually click the button to press on substitutions and all of that stuff, it basically just carries on in the background. The game carries on running in the background, auto playing, Like when we have in NBA Live Mobile, you can autoplay the game. It just does that in the background while you make your substitutions. And then when the ball goes out of play, pretty much like it does in the NBA, or when someone calls a timeout in the NBA in real life, then those substitutions can be made. And that'd be pretty nice, because at the moment in NBA Live Mobile, you've just got bench players for the sake of it, just to increase your overall here and there. You haven't got them for anything in particular, maybe give yourself a couple of boosts. But if you had that in the game where you're going into a seasons game, a showdown game, probably a seasons game more than a showdown game because of the time limit of all of that stuff. And when you're having a longer game, maybe you have energy bars. And then when a player's energy bars gets low, say I've got Stephen Curry as my point guard, say his energy is getting low towards the third quarter, I can switch him out for, say, Jordan Poole or something. He can go in, replace him, or any point guard, maybe Kyrie Irving, I've got him on the bench. I can put him in and then play him instead of that Stephen Curry, just so the energy levels are worth it. And so you can actually make substitutions in the game. I think that'd be very nice to do and very nice to have. Now, they also did add different camera angles to FIFA Mobile, which I think are really nice. They've got 4 of them, which are pretty good. And again, you can switch them easily throughout the whole game. You can seamlessly switch between all 4 of them pretty comfortably in the game. Whereas in NBA Live Mobile, at the moment, we only have 2 camera angles, and you have to pause the game, switch the camera angle and all of that stuff. Then you got the EA Cam baseline and the press box. Not many people actually use the EA base cam. I think it's called the base cam one, but lots of people just use the press box one, including myself, unless we got dunk package where it looks a little bit better on the other one, but here and there. But it is a little bit janky when you're trying to like switch between the two, and I think that'd be really clean if we had some different camera angles. Now, another thing that they did add, which is very similar to FIFA on the console, is they added walkouts to packs. Now, this would be really, really nice to have in NBA Live Mobile. Basically, I'm putting up on screen what it looks like right now, but it's basically, say if I get a pack that gives me a guaranteed elite player anywhere between 80 and say 85, and there's a slight chance of pulling anything above 85. Say I get really lucky and get that 85 overall player, it's going to come up with this really nice animation. It's going to go through, I think it goes through the position of the player, the country that they're from, and the club that they're from, and then finally it shows that final player. You can kind of guess when you're working up to it, see if it's a good pull, see if it's not a good pull. I think that'd be really nice and really fun to have when you're doing pack openings in NBA Live Mobile, because say I get, say, Stephen Curry out of one of the packs, I'm not expecting it. It goes through the different signs, so maybe the first thing it comes up with is the play style of the card. The next thing it comes up with is maybe the position, and then you're kind of like thinking, oh, who could it be? I know it's going to be, say, a finesse point guard. I know it's going to be that. Who's it going to be? Then you see the logo of the club that they're playing for, so Golden State Warriors. Then I know, oh, it could be Curry, it could be Jordan Poole, it could be any of those guys that are from that club. And then you kind of like see that card for the first time. It is just a lot of fun to open packs when you've got that type of walkout, because you know, you're going to get a really good card when you've got that walkout animation, and also it just the whole thing and the whole aesthetic of opening a pack like that is really, really fun to have in the game.
Come on, Portuguese! Oh, he's called it! What a day! What a day! We're going up!
Another thing they also do is they do a lot of replays. And when you score a goal in FIFA Mobile, they will show a replay straight away. And I think you can actually go back and rewatch that replay at the end of the game as well, which is really fun to see. But in NBA Live Mobile, I know this would be very difficult to actually do, because if you think about when it comes to football and you're scoring a goal, those are the only times you really need to have replays, and that's pretty easy for, like, say, an AI to work out what it needs to replay. It's just when a goal is scored, pretty much. Sometimes it's when some other stuff happens, like a foul, offside, all of that stuff. But in NBA, it's a lot different, because say someone does, say, a normal three-point shot, you don't need to actually do a replay for that, but you actually need to do a replay for something like a crazy dunk here and there. And that's what EA have sort of done in NBA Live Mobile, where we have those wow moments where it slows the game down a little bit. But I think if we could have a replay mode sort of similar to that, or even something, say I do a crazy windmill dunk and then it just replays it back straight after, that would be really nice to have, and you see it in like slow motion from a different angle here and there. That's what FIFA Mobile does, but I get that would be pretty hard to code for, because you're working out AI, sort of working out when it needs to do these replays, when it doesn't need to do these replays, and all of that stuff. And all of these suggestions and all of these features, I have no clue as to how hard or how easy it is to actually code for these, but I'm just taking it from my point of view, looking at FIFA Mobile and thinking, oh, NBA Live Mobile could maybe do something similar. But those are all the features after playing FIFA Mobile beta for a couple of days here and there, that I thought NBA Live Mobile could maybe do something similar, maybe make a couple of tweaks here and there. And these are basically centered around gameplay more than anything. And I think that is a huge part of NBA Live Mobile. Yes, we keep talking about how promos need fixing, but we don't actually look at gameplay a lot when it comes to it, because I've just been hopping on FIFA Mobile beta, and they have their version of Showdown, and they have their version of Arena, and all of that stuff. They had their own version of Seasons, and playing through that is actually really fun to play. Whereas when I go into NBA Live Mobile, I'm not actually going to play Showdown, I'm not playing Arena, I'm not playing Seasons and all that stuff. In Season 1, I was pretty much playing that as well as all the promos and all that stuff. And I thought that was really fun to play. But if EA could kind of like go back to that really enjoyable gameplay to play through, I think that would make the game a lot better. Because say there's a promo right now that you don't like, that's it, you're not touching the game for a couple of days while that promo is out. But say that promo wasn't that good, you didn't actually like it, you could go play Showdown, you could go play Arena, you could go play Seasons and enjoy it still while playing through that. So I think if some of these features were added in NBA Live Mobile, I think this game would just be absolutely incredible. And I think it'd be really nice to have these features maybe added. And I really like the fact that FIFA Mobile had gone out their way to make a beta version, to get some feedback from that, and then hopefully release another game or the next season of that game later on into next year. And I think NBA Live Mobile could do something similar. Now, I have no idea and no clue what NBA Live Mobile is going to do, whether we carry on with season 6 and just have another season 7, all of that stuff. But I think a beta would be really nice to have, just to get some feedback from the whole community. And if we just had like a separate game, they're working on something completely different. And I do understand when people say, oh, we can make these little improvements here and there, I'd love to see this and that. We have no idea how hard it is to code for this. Something simple, maybe like changing a player's position or something like that, I don't know. Something really simple could actually take a huge amount of code. We just don't know that unless you're a game developer yourself, unless you know how to code these massive games. A lot of people don't actually take that into consideration. So I get that it's really hard to do that. And maybe we just have a completely separate app like FIFA Mobile did with a whole new beta game. And maybe EA on NBA Live Mobile are working on this. I have no idea, but it would be just great to see if we could have some of these features and some knowledge about all of this stuff that's happening. But that is going to be it for the video. Again, this is kind of like a different video talking about some features that I found in a different game and comparing it to what we could have in NBA Live Mobile. I think it was pretty fun. But anyway, if you're new to the channel, make sure you drop a like on the video and comment down below, what do you actually want when it comes to gameplay, especially in NBA Live Mobile? Do you think some of these features would be pretty cool to have? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.